Hello everyone. We're on June 13th, Wednesday, Zone 7 northeast of Atlanta, and amazingly at the moment it's not raining, which has been pretty interesting since it's rained pretty much every day for the last 3-4 weeks. I wanted to give you an update while I can on the garden, and then I got to get out and get some fertilizer going. Garden this year has been kind of strange in that some things are doing well and some aren't, and every year it's always different things. I think I put some pictures up. I put netting up over the blueberries, and it's not hard to see that I'm not the greatest guy building frames for nets, but somehow or other they're actually working. You can kind of get a look at how many blueberries are coming. This is a later one. But where it gets interesting is to come down here to the next bush and just look at all the blueberries, and they're starting to ripen. Now if we bend over some more and move down a little further, we come to a later bush. They're staggered from bottom to top in the rate that they mature the blueberries, and you can see one of the cool things is, look at the size of the blueberries. That's the good part to all the rain we've had, is that the blueberries are just huge. They're the biggest ones I think we've ever had. Let's see if we can get in here. And the challenge, of course, is figuring out how to peel the netting back. Look at the size of that blueberry. It's bigger around than my finger. Now, for all the blueberries you're seeing, we already picked probably a quart just off of this bush right here. The older blueberries down on the lower end of the yard don't produce anything like these newer varieties. But they're about 30 years old, and the bushes are probably getting pretty tired. So that's how the blueberries are doing. Now we'll work our way around down here to the end, and then we'll climb the hill. Here's a tub full of, should be a couple of plants of ginger growing nicely. Then there's a patty pan squash and a acorn squash. And I think another patty pan, no, it's a butternut down here. Stuck some marigolds in, maybe they'll help a little, maybe they won't, who knows. Then we're gonna move up, and here's a large tub of sweet potatoes doing well. We're getting a little bit of damage from flea beetles. But you can see there's some flea beetle damage, but it doesn't seem to be really hurting the bush any, the sweet potatoes any. I put up here a little bit of molding material for fungus and whatever, because I've got some red potatoes here that the weather's just about to knock them out. And since I use a lot of compost in the potatoes bins, we end up growing some great looking tomatoes. We'll see what kind of tomatoes set on this, and then we'll decide whether we want to keep it or not. Then the tomatoes end up being basically two crops in the summer. The first ones you put out, it's so wet, so much rain, that you get so much blight and fungus and molds and whatever growing that the first ones don't last very long. But you usually can get a whole lot of tomatoes right before the plants die. So I have new plants started inside, because once the extreme rains quit, then we go to the other half of the deal, and the back half of the summer is all drought. So you can see underneath all the powder for the blight, we just have huge tomatoes growing, and just millions of them. Look at the size of that tomato there. There's a couple starting to get a little color to them. So this is my tomatoes. Here's a couple of late ones I put in to see if they'll split the difference between the ones that get wiped out from all the rain and the drought ones. And then we come over here to my Musica Romano pole beans. This is far and away my favorite pole bean. Until they get really big and full, they're stringless, just extremely flavorful, and I think they would grow straight to the moon if you gave them enough support. But you can take a look and see how many blooms are coming on these things. Tremendous, tremendous production, and really, really tasty. They're not strong like normal pole beans are, and we like the Romano Italian type beans better anyway. So then we're going to move over, back up a little bit, and here's more tomatoes. These are running up a cattle panel, and as you can see, these are all heirlooms in here, and you can see while they're making tomatoes that the blight I think every disease tomatoes get is having a field day in here. So this will all get planted a second time after we see how many tomatoes we can get off from the first time. I managed to pick up a bunch of pallets at Growers Outlet right before they closed, so I'm redoing my compost bins. The other ones were kind of falling apart there, so I'm redoing them, putting them in with posts, making them look better. Then we have a row here, a double row I guess, of pots. This is a Tulsi basil. I love the different Thai basils. This is a African blue basil, very tasty also. Another one, I need to get the flowers cut off of it. There's an oregano, another oregano. Let's see what all this is. Lemon balm, lots and lots of lemon balm. Some Swiss chard, you can see how it's doing in there. Here's some peppermint. This is, let me taste it. Oh, spearmint. Oh boy, is that some good spearmint. Here's some more oregano. Here's some red potatoes. The red potatoes are not fond of the extreme heat, and they certainly don't like high humidity. So they're always a lucky crop if I get any. And they always go down quickly from the different diseases. But usually they'll make me some potatoes. Here's some more mint. Here's some more Swiss chard. Some more Thai basil. In here, this is them little fold-out sow baskets we get at Big Lots. You get them at some of the bargain stores. And let's see if we can get inside enough to see. We can't. I've got dill growing in there. Then we've got a Ichabod eggplant. These are stevia, sweetener herb, no calorie, very, very sweet. And we'll come around, we've got sage, some hostas I'm trying to recover from an area that I put them that they really didn't think much of. So then we're going to come down here, and we come up here on the hill here. We have a lot of trees, so you got to take the sunlight where you can get it. Here is, seems like I always get tomatoes in the middle of my sweet potatoes, but there's two more nice big bins of sweet potatoes. This is my, if you don't have room for a garden deal, it's a, 2.5 foot by 1.5 foot bin. Cost me $7, and I've already picked a couple of peppers off this pepper plant. Here's a new pepper coming. Here's basil. Here's oregano. Then over on this side, look at the batch of tomatoes coming. Lots and lots of tomatoes. And another basil. So you got a nice little pesto garden or a little pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce garden. These nice blue tubs were on sale at Aldi's for $5, hold 18 gallons. Got a couple tomatoes in here. A pair of Juliets. They're little 1-inch tomatoes. Very, very tasty. Do well in the heat. Here's another tub. It's one of my tubs from last year. This is like its 3rd year doing sweet potatoes. One of the problems you get, of course, is you got to look at, boy, this will be the last year because it's falling apart. Here's another tub with sweet potatoes and more sweet potatoes. Then we finish off this area with, let's see, Yolo Wonder pepper, 2 Yolo Wonders, 2 marigolds, Solomon seal. Beautiful, spreads nicely. Here's some plants here I have going. They're outside. They're kind of replacement fill-in plants. There's a bunch of calendulas ready to go out. These are zinnias. A couple of cucumbers. A couple more peppers. So let's go out into the garden some more. Past my sad tomatoes. This is amazing. The tomatoes look this sad, but look how many tomatoes are on them. So it's a race between the blight and the tomatoes. This is my Grain X onions and some more Romano beans. I picked 4 peppers the day before yesterday. We've started picking peppers. These are Jupiters, Poblano. Something really been eating on this banana. There's another banana. There's the Yum Yum. That's the little multicolored, real sweet peppers. There's another Yolo Wonder. Gives you a beautiful California Wonder type pepper. There's another one. Another Jupiter. Another Poblano. Let's see what all we got. There's another Yum Yum. A couple Yolo Wonders. Another Poblano. Jupiter. These 2 are obviously Poblanos. These things will become, the Poblanos will get to the top of this cattle panel and they'll be 3 feet across. They're what we just picked hundreds and hundreds of peppers off of last year. Mostly I do Poblanos and Yolo Wonders. The Jupiters are another blocky type. Even at the small size, there are 3 nice peppers on there. These are nice peppers growing. There's the beans. I didn't really figure out where I wanted to put them, even though I bought a couple blackberry vines. So they're growing nicely and they're going to give us quite a few blackberries just being in this large pot. We have almost finished the horseradish from last year already. So I've done an entire 4-foot section here for horseradish. We go through a lot of horseradish. We moved down. I got a little square here where I've stuck in some more peppers. Better Boys. Big Bertha, Yolo Wonders. Then in here we've got this side of some different cucumbers. Here's a beautiful yarrow. We have several of these around the house. They're just beautiful. And this is a good 4 feet tall, 3 foot wide. It's 3-4 years old. Those people who have comfrey, this comfrey dates back, close to 40 years. We originated with it in Jacksonville, Florida, and moved it up here and planted it, and it continues to grow. One time we had rabbits and we fed a lot of it to the rabbits. Now it pulls a lot of minerals out of the deep soil, and we run it through the compost. So it's great for the compost. It's lots of nutrition. And the bees really like it. Maybe we'll go walk a different way here. Now we have some what I think will end up being Persian cucumbers, which I think is just a burpless cucumber picked when it's small. See how many blooms that we're getting. And then we have a homemade pickle cucumber and a General Lee. Now you got to figure, living in the south with the kind of heat we get, the General Lee ought to be a good choice. And we've grown it for the last 2 or 3 years, and just a little 4-foot patch like this will give us more cucumbers than my wife can figure out, even come close to what to do. Now we're back to the back side of some peppers and some horseradish. So that's how the garden looks. The tomatoes are getting decimated by blight from all the moisture, but I think we're going to get a bunch of tomatoes out of them first. And I've got brand new replacement plants growing inside, so as these die out, I'll replace them with new plants as we get out of this rainy season. And you got to be watching out for these cute little white butterflies. They're cute, they're nice, they're white, they're not your friend. The caterpillars, the eggs they lay, wreak havoc everywhere. A lot of the dilemma that we're having with the tomatoes is not just the blight and the funguses, but all this moisture has just made it pure heaven for the slugs. And it's incredible, slugs, how far they'll travel and how much they can eat. They will just eat your tomatoes down to the ground. So I put out a bunch of a product called Sluggo, which I've used in the past and really seems to help. I don't know if it's too late to help these guys or not. Problem is you put all this stuff out, which is nice, and then we get an inch of rain this afternoon and it's all washed off. So you can't really get anything to stay on long enough to do you much good. So basically you just try and get all the tomatoes you can get as fast as you can get, and then when the drought time comes, put out fresh plants and water them as best as you can. It's the way it's been the last 3 or 4 years, and it's the way things are setting up again this year. So there's the garden. There's some really nice things going on, and there's some really sad things going on, but that's how it is every year. You never know. So June 13th, Zone 7, northeast of Atlanta. It's high 80s, and the humidity is probably high 2000s. It's hard to breathe, it's so humid, with thunderstorms for the afternoon. Surprise, surprise. That's the weather forecast for the next week. So thank you for watching. You got any tips for what to do when your plants get soaked every day to get the blight and stuff down? Please stick them down in the messages, because obviously I need help on the tomatoes. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so you get noticed when I send up new videos, which hopefully I can start doing more often now. And it's a pleasure showing you what I've got. Thank you.